What's going on, people? I am Swearer, and this is the Opinionated Facts Media Group podcast. I am joined by Coco Love. Journey should be great at Illuminated Lenses. On Opinionated Facts, we talk about relationships. And today we're going to take a deep dive into a few things that maybe you have experienced. I'll go first. So I gotta ask the ladies. Some jobs require you to take off your wedding band or your wedding ring. I just want to know if you're a guy, he was not working a job where it required him to take it off, and he just didn't wear it. Would that bother you?
Yes.
Yeah, I would want him to wear it. I'm wearing mine. Why can't you wear yours?
I just thought it was interesting because, like, I get the whole point, and I need to do some more research about like history of like why the ring or whatever. But I know some people don't wear their ring. And I just wanted to know like what you guys felt about it because I know as a man, I'm not necessarily that pressed about it. I mean, what about you, E? Like, do you feel the same way, or are you like, nah, I'm gonna have that ring on?
I mean, I guess it really just depends. Like, if you have a job that to say you can't have any jewelry or anything like that on your hands or anything because like get caught up in the machine or whatever, I don't have no problem taking it off. I will say if the other person wears their ring, then you need to wear yours. I mean, I can see how that could cause an issue, but people be having wedding bands all the time. They don't act like they married. So you having a wedding band on don't really mean that y'all are actually, acting like a real couple.
That is very true. That's very true. And I guess that's why I was thinking about that. Like, I know some people, like you said, whether they got it on or not. I actually had a friend that was telling me that she's a flight attendant, and she said that the pilots are always flirting with the female flight attendants. And then he was like, hey, would you like to come? I guess when we land, would you like to come back to, I guess, his room and have a drink or two? And she said the first thing she looked at was his hand and saw that he had a ring on. And she was like, no, thanks. I don't think your wife would appreciate that. And then he just takes his other hand and puts it over the, the wedding ring or whatever.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
So that's kind of like what brought me to that. Like, I mean, I get the whole point, but let's just say he didn't have the ring on. Let's say he was just, he just took it off for work or whatever like that. Is that like the signal? Like the Batman signal they put in there, like, hey, he's married, she's married, and like, because I know some people, like you said, whether they got the ring on or not, they gonna do them. Apparently, that's how the pilot was.
Mm-hmm. Well, that just dawned on me though, what you were just saying, whatever, like, kind of side note, but people, talk about truck drivers a lot, being the type of man to stay away from whatever when it comes to being faithful, whatever. But you know what? I thought about it. A pilot probably is right on up there too, actually. There's somebody that, you might want to stay away from whatever, because like they could probably be married. And all that's gonna do with him is he just gonna remember the next time to slide that thing off his finger before he makes his next play.
That's right. How you like me live?
I just about to say. I mean, it's really no difference between a trucker and a pilot. Just one hose on the ground, one hose in the sky. I mean,
exactly.
Hey, what is it? Like the seal, ain't it? What is it? Sea air, land.
Oh my God! Just stay single. How about that? Stay single.
He said he gonna get single when he slide that ring off. When we put it back on, he back married again.
Whatever.
he thought I did. I guess he thought he did a magic trick. And now you see it, and now you don't.
Now I'm married. No, I'm not.
Now I'm not. Yeah. Speaking of relationships, due to a recent encounter that I've had, it brought me to the question, does a person's past relationship history determine if they're qualified to date you? Now, that can go for men and women. And as far as relationship history, I'm referring to the people that they dated previously. So, in my opinion, dating is like a long, drawn-out interview. And if you think about it, like if you interview them for a job, say if somebody been working at McDonald's all their life, and I'm not knocking McDonald's. I mean, according to the commercial, Calvin had a very successful career at McDonald's, so I'm not knocking. But of course, if you've been doing McDonald's, you can easily transition to Burger King or Popeyes or something like that. But just say you decide all of a sudden, you know what, I want to go into banking. I want to be a bank teller. So although you have that customer service experience, you do have experience with transactions. However, if you go into banking, it's going to require a certain level of professionalism that wasn't needed in fast food. And you will be privy to certain information that you won't have in fast food if you go into banking. And the transactions are different and they're larger. But like I said, you don't have the experience, although you want to go into that industry. Now, if you don't have the experience, like, have you done anything skill set wise to upgrade yourself so you can get this position that you're looking for? And so the reason I say that, like I said, I had an experience. This guy, he was trying to talk to me, whatever, we getting to know each other. And I end up, we were Facebook friends. So when we were initially friends, I saw that it said he was still in a relationship. So I questioned him about that. And he was like, well, he not on Facebook often. He didn't know how to change it. So he said. So some time went by. We kind of fell out talking. Then we started talking again. And when we talked again, I saw that that status had changed. So me being, investigative,
Private eye.
I kind of went and looked at the girl at this so-called ex-girlfriend's profile. And needless to say, we're quite different. And just looking through some of her posts, one thing that stood out the most is that her profile picture had changed. And on her profile picture, she had a blunt in her mouth and she was holding a gun.
Oh, wow.
So, like I said, we're quite different. And not to mention, I noticed that he had liked the picture. So it's just me feeling like, okay, this is like really who you're still into. So I just feel like, moving to me, and not saying I'm just this almighty woman, whatever, but like I said, I'm different I'm a little different. But like I said, I just was wondering, in y'all opinion, does that matter? Like the type of people that the person has dated before, would it determine if they will be a good fit for you or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Because guess what? If you dated somebody hood and they your ex, if they try to spin the block,
right.
I'm with you. Guess who they spinning it on?
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, he over there with Baby D, ain't he?
I mean, seriously though.
he over there with Baby D for real.
Man, I mean, that's the type. I mean, and to each their own. But if I was to see that picture or whatever, like to me, that would be the kind of female that would give me the new incoming female or whatever in his life. Like I feel like that's the type of woman that would give me a hard time. That's the kind of woman that would be, puncturing my tires and things like that or whatever, or showing up trying to fight me or whatever. And I'm not that about that life anymore.
Right.
So I got a lot more to lose.
that Honda Civic definitely gonna have her own window brick. I'm let you know right now.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? My car is really cute, you know what I'm saying? I have a lot more to lose, so I'm just not about that life anymore.
I'm not about that life
anymore. Wait. Anymore.
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm being honest. I mean, I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to the people and say I'm not about that life at all. I'm just saying I'm not about that life anymore. I have a lot to lose now. My job, a child, things like that. So, I don't play those kind of reindeer games, especially not behind no man. So
back in your heyday though, you was a real head buster back in the
day. Check this out. Like, this is something I want to bring up too now. I don't know if y'all thought about this, but check this out. As a female, you can say that. From a male standpoint, we may be put in that position at any given time. Like, say for example, check this out. You talking to a woman and say she's like, well, you know what? I want to transition from the hood guys to, somebody like you. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I just want somebody that goes to work, gonna take care of me, this and the third, right? So now she got a crazy dude that's trying to follow her around. How does a man deal with that?
The same way, true. I mean, if you don't want to involve yourself in that, I think you should not. If you get a glimpse and her ex is posted up in the same way with thug life across his stomach and a blunt and a bandana tied up, I think you should see that too.
I mean, look, man, that's
yeah.
That's what you just said. The Doug, y'all females have that little good face, so it's like y'all have at least one. Yeah, I feel like every female has at least one of a hood dude that she used to talk to.
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
Yeah. But I'm not on that.
Why they got quiet?
Because he over here talking about some anyway. Well, not related, but it's still about relationships or whatever, but friendship. So I don't know if you guys have seen it, but unfortunately in the news this past week, there was a news story about a young lady named Shanquelle Robinson. She went to Cabo with, and this was in like late October, so like October 29th, I think. She went to Cabo with some friends, and I say that, I'm using that term loosely, vacationing there, and unfortunately she did not return. They told her parents that she wasn't feeling well at first or whatever, and then that she eventually died of alcohol poisoning. They returned back to the state and they returned her luggage to her parents' house. Come to find out, after a little bit more digging, when her parents like got her remains back and everything, and the autopsy report came back, it was found that she had, I think, a broken neck, damaged spines, blunt force trauma, swollen eyes, knot on her head, things like that. So she had been obviously beaten. And then this video came out, and as hard as it is to watch, I'm glad it came out because that really shows like what happened, and it is not alcohol poisoning. And so basically what you see this young lady, and she's nude, unfortunately, and she is clearly out of it. She's not fighting back or anything. She is being beaten. And her friend, again, one of them is doing the beating or whatever. It's just one person from what I can recall. And then there's somebody holding the camera telling her to fight back, all of that. So all of this to say, growing up for me, all my life, my mom has always told me, watch out, who you call friends. Now, I'm fortunate enough to have a group of friends that I have pretty much grown up with. My oldest friend, I've been friends with her since I was 3. So, but I have had some females, come in and out of my life, whatever, that you outgrow people, right? But one thing my parents always taught me was, keep your eyes open. Unfortunately, you can't put anything past anybody. So I wanted to kind of talk about like friendships. Like, have you ever had someone, I guess, if you thought was your friend, unfortunately, and maybe you guys stopped each other, or maybe it turned out that they just weren't your friend or whatever? What are some signs? Because that's my fear, especially as I'm a mother of a young child now, of course. But you can't do everything. You cannot do and be there for your child 24/7. But you want to teach them to, number one, be a good friend, but you also want to teach them like to know and just kind of have that feeling of vibes or whatever. Like, if this person doesn't really mean you any good. So like maybe what are some tips or some red flags that you might have noticed in the past in your experiences of where someone wasn't really your friend?
For me, I've had some people come and go, and it was more so that I just kind of outgrew them. Well, we outgrew each other. Yeah. It's like it got to the point, especially when I was trying to, going through my phase of trying to transition, want to become better. It's like our conversations changed, and we didn't have as much as common to talk about. Especially again in the process of me trying to grow. It's just, it was just something that we didn't have much in common anymore.
Yeah.
What about you, E? I got something I want to say about this. What about you?
Yeah, I've had a lot of friends come and go. I mean, I say with me, it's more like, it's kind of like how you said, Coco. It's like a vibe that you get when you just kind of know when it's like something just not right, or when something just don't feel right. Because real friends, you're not gonna feel like that. You feel comfortable with, hey, this what happened. I ain't like this. Y'all can agree to disagree or whatever, and then that be the end of it. That's what real friends do. But when you feel like that you can't be honest, or when you feel like you can't share things with your friend because you feel like they'll try to bring it up, tell somebody, or just do something to not be in your best interest, I say that's when you kind of know, like, all right, that I need to go and take a couple steps back.
Yeah, I think too, when they say things like to get under your skin, like kind of picking at you sometimes, unfortunately you do have those. Or if you tell them something in private or whatever, like during a time when you're down or whatever, and then you're back good or whatever, and then they throw it back in your face later. Just different signs like that. But sometimes people do grow apart. I think you see that a lot too, like, when you move away, like when you go to college and stuff like that. So sometimes it just kind of happens, but you do have those people that call themselves your friends, and unfortunately sometimes they're jealous of you. It's sad.
And you know what? That's the most dangerous situation, when they're secretly jealous of you, and it doesn't come out until you least expect it. It's like news to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And another point of view I want to try to position people to see right now is this: everybody, especially when you're young, thinks that it's all good. Hey man, ain't nothing wrong with a little hand-to-hand combat, or I'm ready to fight, and anybody say anything to me, I'm throwing hands. But I think this is a good illustration to show that fighting is very dangerous. Like, a lot of people think, oh, it's a couple hits and then you can just get up and leave. You could see just from this situation here the type of damage that throwing hands with somebody can cause. Every time you go into that type of mode where you throwing hands and that person throwing hands, I've seen some serious injuries where there were no weapons involved and people just hitting each other. A pitcher can throw a baseball long at 9,800 some miles an hour. Have y'all seen that? Like when they clock how fast the ball is going when it comes from the pitcher's hand.
Yeah.
So I just want y'all to take that into consideration for 1 second. Just think about it. If somebody is hitting you in the face, in the back, in the neck, in any part of your body, and each blow is coming at 90 miles an hour. I mean, just think about that.
That's crazy. And to your point, I mean, it's just like, and everybody knows, if every time y'all have like a disagreement or something, and they automatically like, oh, they want to fight, or you know what I'm saying, or something like that, or they just want to argue or whatever. Like, you can't even just be like, oh, well, I don't think this, because then it's gonna be like, dang, I don't want to say nothing because they don't want to fight, and I ain't feel like fighting, or they want to argue. I don't feel like arguing. I mean, that's just sign right there. So, and even then, you're not trying to hurt your friend. You're not gonna fight your friend like just off rip, just like that.
It's crazy because it's kind of like a catch-22 because we don't want to use, like, we don't want people to hurry up and go and pick up a gun or anything to solve disputes. And we'll say, like, what happened to fighting? But like you were saying, fighting is dangerous too, as we can see here. Like, when you pick somebody up and you body slam them, like, something can go wrong. I mean, that's why the move exists. I mean, it is meant to hurt someone. So I just think people just need to be mindful. It's like we need to learn more about settling disagreements or whatever, like with our words, and just like, if you can't talk it out, maybe leave the situation and come back. But in this particular situation, I don't know what was going on. It breaks my heart because I've seen videos of her family, both her parents, and it's heartbreaking. So I want her to get justice. I pray and hope she does, because it's just not right.
You can tell that there probably was something going on probably before they got on the trip. They probably would cut some things or whatever, because you can just tell in some of the videos, like, their energy was like off from when it's just them versus with her. And that's just, in closing, that's just one thing that people need to know, like, need to understand. People always trying to go here, go on these trips and everything like that, and they'll just go with anybody. You can't go on a trip with everybody. Because you leaving from where you're comfortable with. If you leaving your family to go on this trip, and then you with these folks and you don't even know how they get down. Like, if you didn't like have some type of beef with somebody in the group or in the trip and stuff like that, I mean, you gotta ask yourself, like, okay, yeah, is that little $400, $500, $600 that I spent? I ain't saying little, because that's $500, $600, but right. But is that money really worth taking the chance of something happening, on the trip? Like, because you're going to have to go on the trip and it'd be like, oh, well, I really ain't speaking, I really ain't messing with them for real, Yeah. So sometimes it's better to just go and just stay at home.
Just trying to give y'all some of what we think, and we hope that it's helpful to you guys. I mean, we really try to sit down and think about what we can say and what we can do to make your relationships better, whether it be with yourself, with your friends, with your family, at work, whatever it may be. But as always, thank y'all so much for taking the time to listen to us today. I am Swaver, joined by Coco Love. Journey to be great, illuminating lenses. This is the Opinionated Facts Media Group podcast. And until next time, peace.